In Hollywood, where love stories are usually loud, flashy, and built for headlines, one couple always felt different, quiet, creative, almost untouched by the chaos of fame. Keanu Reeves and Alexandra Grant were never the kind of couple who fed the gossip machine. No dramatic social media posts, no staged paparazzi moments, just two people living, creating, and loving away from the noise. And maybe that's exactly why the rumors surrounding them feel so unsettling now. Lately, the whispers have grown harder to ignore. Fewer public appearances, separate events, long stretches of silence. Fans are starting to ask the question no one wants to ask out loud. Did Keanu Reeves really walk away from the woman who helped him rediscover peace after decades of loss? And if so, why does this breakup feel so different from every other Hollywood split? The truth is, this isn't a story about betrayal, scandal, or explosive fights. It's something much quieter, much sadder, and far more human. To understand what may have happened between Keanu Reeves and Alexandra Grant, you first have to understand Keanu himself, Hollywood's most reluctant superstar. The man who avoids red carpets, shrugs off fame, and still rides the subway like just another guy. Behind that calm, gentle presence is someone who has endured more heartbreak than most people experience in a lifetime. In the late 1990s, Keanu's life seemed perfect. His career was soaring after The Matrix. He had found love with Jennifer Syme, and they were expecting a child together. Then tragedy struck. Their baby girl was stillborn. Just over a year later, Jennifer died in a devastating car accident. The losses shattered him. Friends say Keanu withdrew completely. He buried himself in work, motorcycles, and solitude. For years, he avoided romantic relationships altogether. While Hollywood chased drama, Keanu chased peace. That's what made his connection with Alexandra Grant so meaningful. Alexandra wasn't an actress. She wasn't a model. She wasn't chasing fame. She was an artist, thoughtful, intellectual, deeply creative, more interested in poetry, philosophy, and paint than paparazzi. They met more than a decade ago, not through a party or a premiere, but through art. In 2011, they collaborated on a book called Ode to Happiness. Keanu wrote the words. Alexandra illustrated them. It wasn't a commercial project. It felt personal, almost intimate, like a shared journal between two creative souls. And somewhere in those long conversations and quiet collaborations, something deeper began to form. By 2017, they had co-founded a small publishing company, X Artists Books. They weren't just partners in business. They were creative equals, inspiring each other in ways that didn't need public validation. Then came the moment that shocked the world. In November 2019, Keanu and Alexandra walked a red carpet together, hand in hand. For the first time in decades, Keanu Reeves wasn't alone. And Alexandra, silver-haired and graceful, looked nothing like a typical Hollywood love interest. She wasn't trying to be younger. She wasn't chasing attention. She was simply herself. And that authenticity was exactly what made their relationship feel untouchable. For years, their love unfolded quietly. No oversharing. No spectacle. Insiders described them as deeply connected, but fiercely independent. They often spent time apart, sometimes months at a time, focused on their own creative worlds. To outsiders, that independence looked healthy, strong. But in Hollywood, silence can be dangerous. By early 2025, fans began noticing something felt off. No shared appearances, no subtle sightings. Alexandra was attending art events alone. Keanu, while promoting his film Good Fortune, walked red carpet solo. At first, people brushed it off. They're private, fans said. Then the rumors intensified. Tabloids claimed the couple had quietly separated months earlier. The reason? Emotional and physical distance. Some suggested their creative paths had pulled them in opposite directions. Others whispered that Keanu had retreated inward again, craving solitude after years of non-stop filming and promotion. One report even claimed Alexandra was seen house hunting alone in Los Angeles. None of it was confirmed, but the absence of denial only fueled the speculation. So what really happened? According to sources close to the couple, there was no dramatic breakup, no betrayal, no explosive argument. Instead, there was a slow, almost invisible drifting apart. Alexandra's art career increasingly required public engagement, gallery openings, international exhibitions, visibility. Keanu, meanwhile, was pulling further away from public life after years of intense press for the John Wick franchise. They weren't fighting. They were just living parallel lives. Friends described it as two people who still cared deeply for each other, but slowly fell out of rhythm. And in Hollywood, that's often how relationships end. Not with fireworks, but with quiet fading. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Despite months of separation rumors, whispers of reconnection have begun to surface. Earlier this year, a fan claimed to spot Keanu at a private art event in Los Angeles, one reportedly curated by Alexandra herself. There were no photos, no public acknowledgement, but eyewitnesses said Keanu stayed for over an hour. He kept to himself, one attendee shared, but you could tell he was there for her. That single sighting reignited hope among fans. Maybe they've reconnected. Maybe not romantically, but creatively. After all, their relationship was never built solely on romance. It was built on art, respect, and mutual understanding. Some bonds don't disappear just because the relationship changes. Alexandra Grant didn't just love Keanu Reeves. She reflected him. She brought out the artist in him. She was his muse without demanding attention. His calm in a world that never stops moving. Together, they showed the world that love after heartbreak is possible, and that it doesn't have to be loud to be real. So maybe this isn't a tragic ending. Maybe it's a quiet evolution, because sometimes love isn't about staying together forever. Sometimes it's about timing, about growth, about knowing when to hold on, and when to let go with grace. And maybe, in choosing peace over performance, Keanu and Alexandra created something even more rare in Hollywood. A love story that ended with respect. As one source once said, "She made him smile again." You don't forget the person who does that. And maybe that's the real story here. Not a breakup, but a reminder that the most powerful connections don't always shout. Sometimes they simply fade into silence and remain meaningful forever.